Mohammed Islam.
ده بعيشة.
I'm so happy to be here. This time I'm interviewing you in your hub, in your zone, at the Mo Show's office. First of all, thank you for giving me the time and opportunity to actually interview you.
For sure, my pleasure. I'm proud of you for starting this.
I know, actually, it's been a long time. I've been thinking about it, but
Should've-
actually just happened suddenly in September. I was like, let's start.
Good.
And
That's, by the way, that's your meal ticket. That you don't sit there and think, should I not? When you want something, you come with your crew. And if I said, you know what, let's do it, but we'll do it on the moon. You'll get on a rocket, and then you'll go to the moon, and you'll set up. Like nothing stops you from doing what you want to do. And I just love that tenacity about you.
yeah, thank you so much. And honestly, thank you for using your lights and using your studio. We're technically
glad we're
taking
doing it
over.
here. I'm glad
we
I'm-
borrowed his mics. We did a lot of.
yeah, a bit of familiarity.
Yeah.
Not just with the person interviewing me, but in my humble abode.
So Mohammed, you're always the one interviewing people. You're always the one asking the question. Today, let's get to know you more on another level.
Sure.
Let's go back to Mohammed, the boy that the young boy before this, the core values of Mohammed. What shaped you into becoming the person you are before this growth? What you built today definitely came from a good substance. Tell us more about you.
So
Growing up, your upbringing, school.
yeah,
Go
all
on.
of that. I mean, I wish it was. I can say that the days were great and successful, and I did really well. But the truth is, everything you see today in the podcast, be it online or me offline, all stemmed from one failure after another, one you are not enough after another. No one ever said that to me, but I feel like the silent voice of life told me that. So every school, scraping away with C's, maybe D's, barely getting by, whether it's here, whether it was in the UK, whether it was in the US, they can't all be wrong. And that was in my mind,
Yeah.
that, they can't all be wrong. You are an idiot. But,
No.
but now, only now, looking back, I believe that I wasn't. It's just that school really wasn't for me.
It's not for everyone, by the way.
It's not for everyone. But at the time, when I'm 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I didn't have the wherewithal or any bit of perspective, let's say, or intelligence to say, you know what, maybe this is just not for you. One day you'll do something special, but just not today. I didn't have someone to whisper that into my ear.
How were your parents about the grades? Were they like?
They were tough. They were okay. They could have been tougher. I saw some of my cousins who, if they had a B minus, we don't see them over Christmas holiday when we're here.
Okay.
When we're back here. So obviously, we're in school there. We come here for Christmas and Easter, I think. So if one of them had one specifically, who I'll keep him nameless. I think he got a B minus once, and his mother said, "Get out of my house. He is grounded. You're welcome to chill with me, but he's grounded." My parents could have been stricter. I think deep down it hurt them that I just wasn't too good in school. It hurt me because I don't like upsetting people. Maybe that's where my people-pleasing tendencies came from.
But maybe they saw that you tried,
Yeah.
or you didn't try enough. Maybe just were not interested.
I don't think they knew. I didn't know whether it was me not trying enough or just the system that was demoralizing. It just didn't work for me.
work for you.
And then, age of 22, 23, 24, I moved back here, and I was in corporate for 13 years, and it still wasn't me. I was like, so wait, I couldn't win during, but school days, I was good at other things, making friends and playing sports.
Yeah.
That's probably my fondest memory in life. But
What
grades,
what was your favorite sport at the time?
football, soccer, for
Always
sure.
football.
Yeah, definitely.
Were
There's
you
a
a
picture, I'll
player?
show it
Yeah,
to you later.
we actually just
I was
saw it.
goalie from Dar al-Fikr, and then in Papelwick I was goalie, and then I was introduced to rugby, and then in Stowe School, who I was at with Henry Cavill,
Amazing.
Superman. Football there, and then in the States, prep school in New Hampshire, a school called Tilton. I played football at a high level.
Always played football.
And then Division 2 in college at a school called Dean College, just outside of Boston. I played a few games there until I retired from football and said, you know what, I just want to do my own thing and not have to be disciplined with anything. And then I moved back to the region, Dubai, played football in AUD as well. Started corporate, was there for 13 years.
In Dubai?
In Saudi.
In Saudi.
Saudi, 13 years, family business, ExxonMobil subsidiary, franchisee.
How was that?
It wasn't me, I was making it work because I didn't know what was me. So I said, I have to make this work. It's my career. if I work so hard and head the company, one day I can have a good life.
And at the end of the day, it's a stable paycheck when you're really young. Like honestly, like I actually went into banking as soon as I came back, and it wasn't me as well. So I totally get where you're coming from.
I remember your story.
So when you go back to the beginning before the motion, was it just an idea that came out? Was it something you wanted to do as a hobby, or something that you always liked the interviewing process? Was it something you dreamed of, or you just like you saw people doing podcasts and talking and doing interviews? How did it come up? What? The 4-hour work week. Okay. So show me. So this was the reason, and this is actually what made it happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my ADD didn't allow me to read it. Back then I was just audiobooking it, so I listened to it twice on audiobook. And God bless him, Tim Ferriss. Like if you get one good thing from a book that you can incorporate into your life, just one thing, then that is a successfully listened or read book, in my opinion. Tim Ferriss said, double down on your strengths, don't work on your weaknesses.
That's so smart.
Because by the time you upped your weaknesses, it may or may not be on the level of your strengths. So why not just double down on your strengths, at which point nobody will ever catch you at what you do. And so there is that, coupled with how misunderstood the country was, rubbing shoulders with Americans and Brits all my life for the 11, 12 years I was on the road, them a little confused as to how you can be Saudi. We're used to Saudis being the bad guy, the terrorist, just not this. You seem to be kind, and you're normal. You're like us.
Perception was
very distorted.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Tim Ferriss said, double down on your strengths. Strengths is my English. So English, I want to do something for the country. And one day my brother sent me a link of Joe Rogan. It was the first time I ever came to know that Joe Rogan, who he was and what he did, and the podcast. And he had Naval on. And within 10 minutes of watching this episode, he said, end of the Industrial Revolution, where I was, ExxonMobil, is the beginning of the Information Revolution, which is what the hell it is we're doing right now.
Exactly.
We're sharing information.
And this was like how long ago?
This was 2020.
2020.
Yeah,
so
in the middle of COVID.
Okay.
End of Industrial Revolution, beginning of the Information Revolution. Naval was saying this on Rogan. Humans aren't meant to work 9 to 5. This is not good for your health. Own a piece of a business. Okay? Stop building someone else's dream.
Which is what you were doing.
I was doing all four.
Doing all
I was in the Industrial Revolution. I was building someone else's dream. I was 9 to 5, and I didn't have a piece of a business. My name wasn't at the door. If I dropped dead on Thursday or Friday, I'd be replaced by Monday morning.
The thing is, the corporate business, I think we've all done the 9 to 5, and honestly, it is torture for me. It's very hard, and I think there must be a way in the future to actually change that. And I think it's starting to change sometimes with some industries, that they're giving like people that like 2 days off a week and to work from home, which is even better, but I don't think it's actually a great system. It doesn't work for everyone, at least. So tell me, you said you want to focus on your strengths.
It's the clock punching,
I hate that, the
yeah,
basma.
it's just that. Like,
I used to have to do this basma.
I remember the guy heading it at the time saying, I noticed that the average number of hours that the employees are plugging into the company is 5.5. And our net margins or net income is here. If you were to add an extra hour, our net income would be here. It's non-linear, brother.
Not at all. It has nothing to do with the time you're in the office.
It's absolutely not that. Have you discussed corporate well-being? Have you discussed whether we're happy driving 40 kilometers into the desert every day? Have you discussed whether we are happy with our salaries, for example, or the job, or people who've been in the same positions for 12 and 13 years?
Move anywhere. I get it.
Or maybe how the last couple of years none of the middle tier got bonuses and you did. I can go on. So there are a lot of moving parts behind corporate toxicity, which is a new initiative that I am launching. We'll get to that soon. But when I saw Rogan speaking to Naval about the 4 or 5 things that I was doing, and he was saying it on a podcast, and then I was like, double down on your strengths, information revolution. That's when I called up Mohammed Maharrag, and I was like, I think I found what I want to do in life.
Actually, it's funny, you came into the right point where I was going to get into this. But before we get into Mohammed Maharrag, I want to ask you about what were the things what were your strengths? What did you feel like? We spend most of our time knowing what our weaknesses are.
Yep.
Because we keep focusing on how to fix them.
Yep.
What were your strengths, and what did you see? Like, you're great with people. You're an amazing, kind soul. you're so helpful. You have so many nice virtues, mashallah, Mohammed. And I'm not just saying that.
Thank you.
Not because we're like on filming. It's really true. And it's rare to find a gentleman nowadays.
I appreciate you saying that, Nada.
So tell me, what are your strengths?
Do you know the way you have irrational? I don't think I have irrational confidence. Maybe you do. How I have, I don't. I'm risk averse. I take risks easily. Like I harbor risks. I've seen it in myself.
That's great.
Whether it's someone giving me a tip in the stock market, I would maybe invest a little more than I should. Whether it's something that I want to keep on an episode or a guest I want to have on. Like a lot of people told me, don't get Mu'taz Azaiza on. Not a good look, Mo.
And what did you think?
I was like, what do you mean not a good look?
I think it's a great look.
I was like, absolutely. This is something that I want to do. Yes, but you want to check with these entities. I was like, absolutely not. And I remember I made a call to my contact at the Ministry of Media. I was like, you know what? I want to have Mu'taz Azaiza on, and we might shoot in Qatar. FYI. They're like, do you need anything from us? I was like, no, sir. He's like, Allah wafiqak.
Okay.
Like they're like, logistics, transportation, anything you need on the ground there. I was like, no, this is just an FYI. They're like, go nail it the way you are. And I asked that just in case, do they not want me to have? But I knew that it would be okay. And that's just one example of, me feeling comfortable to put myself out there. When early days, many people told my mom, who told me, they said, if Mohammed ends up in jail, please do not come to us, And I think the same people.
You've been quite, I think you've been shedding the light on on amazing topics, and I think it's time actually to
own the narrative.
Yeah.
You know what, Nada? I think
everyone's talking about it. You're just actually showing it on TV. What's the difference?
And
on YouTube.
Like I knew that look, I'm always the first line of defense for the country. Okay? Like Ministry of Media or any ministry or entity will never be able to say, oh, Mo, you know what, we don't like that. Because if a guest said something about the country that I didn't like, I'll either challenge him or I probably won't air that episode. Like, I don't need that negativity, You can go to Fox or CNN, CBS and say it there. This is a show that shows Saudi in a different light if given, given the opportunity to. So I knew my MO was very positive, and I knew that if I stick with it, and I want to spend some time talking to you about consistency, that if I stick with it, this can be a source of soft power that one day the country, whoever it is, whether it's the Royal Court or the Ministry of Media or Ministry of Sport for that reason, would be proud of it. And all three were.
They are proud of it.
And all three aforementioned entities were. I heard first-hand information.
It's very clear that they are.
Alhamdulillah.
And I think you're really making the right decisions with the guests you're choosing. You're shedding light on amazing topics. I was actually talking to Khala Sultana today about you, and I was telling her I'm coming to interview Mo. He's my first podcast in Jeddah in Saudi. And she had nothing but great things to say about you, Saraha.
Second mother to me.
I love her. And what's really nice is that everybody's so proud of you in this community that you're in, because you did such a great job. And I do see that all these entities are coming to work with you for a reason. So one of your strengths is you are also a people's person. وقريب على القلب. Another thing, you interviewed so many important people. Like sometimes it's just very casual, like me and you, when we're sitting and we're chilling. And then sometimes you really interview people that the chair gets heavier. Let's be honest. Like I've had that too before. Like sometimes like I don't even know how to ask the question. Do you feel sometimes that you get imposter syndrome when you're interviewing these like big business tycoons and leaders?
Always, yeah. I have no business being in front of Princess Rima, Prince Abdulaziz, Ali Shahabi, people like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence.
How do you feel?
And even friends like with Hassan Jamil, for example. We're friends, but am I the right person to be leading this? Whether it's with HRHs or friends or CEOs of companies, I think the days of schooling have been so condescending to me that on some level there's a part of it that still stays with me today. Like when I was in school in England, a school called Stowe School, okay? And there are 5 different classes for math that are segregated based on intelligence. And I was in E every time.
Which is the lowest.
And I'm actually good at math, which is the lowest. Basically they're saying you are the dumbest, please do not disturb the good apples, okay? And I'm actually good at math. So being in E in math just allowed me to feel that I am dumb. And I carried that with me as I went through school.
Yeah, I get it. Like a lot of us feel dumb sometimes. Like even when I went to the States in the beginning, I kind of felt that in the beginning. I felt no matter what I did, I just didn't. I even actually once got a B plus, and she told me I'm not going to give you an A because English is your second language. Then I told her,
Wow.
I assure you that this was written as an A student, and then she went and gave me the A.
Okay, good.
Because I actually fought for it, but I really didn't like that specific essay. I remember.
Yeah.
Because I felt she was ظالمتني.
Stayed with you. It stayed with you. But
It
good on
stayed
you.
with
Good
me.
on you for challenging that.
Yeah, but also with you, like I feel like this is what I don't like about schools in general, even with our kids now, segmenting. It really bothers me. Like I wish I can find a schooling system that doesn't have levels or grades or it really does. It does take a toll. And look at us right now at this age. We still have confidence issues from such things that we remember since we were young.
I do
for sure as well. And like labeling this kid as like, oh, he has ADD or this one has. It doesn't matter what he has. The kid has strengths in other ways, like you just said. But we all have it.
Because it's your formative years, right? Up until like 12, 13, 14,
Not
15.
even 2 to 7. 2 to 7 are like the most important years. And like I really don't like it when I see when a kid gets very timid and shy.
Yeah. And by the way, I certainly was that. Off the sports field, away from the people who I know, my core, I definitely, I'm not as extroverted as people thought I was. I think I'd put on a front a little bit. I was an ambivert. I was somewhere in the middle. But around my circle, 10 of my closest, no problem at all. But, around people who I don't know, no, I definitely carried some issues of me not being too sure of myself.
But you going to AUD, I feel, changed that a bit. Don't you think? You're going to Dubai?
Yeah.
You mingled more with the locals and the more of the Arab crowd. And I think this is why you have a good balance comparing to a lot of the boys in your family that went abroad. Yani, I really see that with you. Am I right or wrong? So tell me.
You were talking about AUD, and yes, it's funny you say that because when my visa got rejected to go back to Boston after September 11th, it was on 2004, I was so upset. I was like, my life is over. Where am I going to do? All my friends and my cousins
Your
are
name
all
is
in the US.
Mohammed Islam.
Mohammed
Didn't
Islam,
help.
and you don't look like one. I literally had a guy once at TSA asking me when did I convert, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. So I moved to Dubai, and you said AUD. That is the moment in my life where I just made friends with like I just went all out.
You
like
got out of your comfort zone.
Exactly, yeah. And looking back, it was probably one of the best couple of years of my life. Living on your own, having your own apartment, being within arm's reach to home, meeting people from all over the world. AUD was a melting pot. I had friends from every single Arab country.
That's amazing.
Really.
And it's maybe something you needed because you went to school very young.
Yeah.
And in London, in British.
I
in
needed
Britain.
it. And I was always a foreigner. In the UK, a foreigner. US, foreigner. When I moved to Dubai, the Emiratis never made me feel like a foreigner.
I get it.
So there's that angle, including being around my friends that I was from 1st to 6th grade with. 5 or 6 come to mind, and they were all in Dubai. So I picked up with where I left when I left Saudi 15 years before. So it was a great full circle moment.
And obviously Muharreg was with you there. So let's go to episode. I call it 00. What do you call it?
That's what I called it, actually. I called it
001.
001. You know why I called it
001?
I called it 001 because I was being passive aggressive in my messaging that I'm going to reach 100 episodes, everyone.
Really? I'm so proud of you. By the way,
Yeah.
and by the way,
It's a little arrogance, but
No, it's not arrogance.
it's
It's
just
a reality.
self-fulfilling.
How many episodes have you reached now?
174.
Good job. And how many years?
5.5.
5.5. So let me tell you something.
All translated.
I went back and watch your first episode, and actually your first episodes.
Why would you do that?
I'm coming here. I must be prepared.
Yeah, but like it's not.
I saw what you did. It was a start. You and Mohammed sitting, asking him about how he was from Jizan, and you were talking about all. First of all, I'm gonna clap because I see another person. Your confidence, how you speak. it's another, like, look at us, look at where we are today.
Repetition.
This is amazing.
The result of repetition.
Repetition, but not just repetition. You're so confident now when you're speaking. You're talking from heart, even though then you were talking from heart, but I think you were worried.
I was very camera conscious.
You're camera conscious?
Yeah, very camera conscious.
Tell us how you started that. How did that journey start? And what were the difficulties you faced in the beginning? Like, I'm facing some camera issues right now, but tell me more. At the time, it was even harder, and probably even harder to find the right people to film, to get what you wanted to get across. So tell me more about this phase.
I think that the hardest part was trying to balance between work and starting this as well. Not knowing that if I persevered 3 years from now, when I started, I'll be able to leave it and do the podcast full time. And
how long did it take you to actually make money and be able to leave your job?
Very good question.
It's a very good question because people always wonder.
Yeah. So we dropped our first episode on the 9th of September, 2020, in the middle of COVID. And that's another thing. People are like, not only are you starting this new thing, but you're doing it in COVID and you're investing. What are you doing? Yeah, actually.
It's the right time.
I am. It's like, I'm the kind of person that, what is it Warren Buffett said? Buy stock when the bombs are blowing up, sell when the birds are chirping.
Interesting.
All right, so that's something I picked up. So, okay, it was at a time when everyone's, unsure, they don't know what to do, but it was actually a great time to launch because everyone was at home. So we managed to penetrate the content to people who, were not on the move as much.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think the hardest thing was juggling both. I was working under a narcissistic psychopath, so being able to churn out episodes at the same time, maintain my job. And I told my uncle the moment that it's too much, and my boss was not my uncle. My boss reported to my uncle, but I told my uncle that if it's ever too much, I will ensure that I stop one of them. So I left my cousins and everything that was familiar to me in the US, and I went to Dubai, and I had to start from scratch.
Yeah,
and in that starting from scratch, I actually found myself with the friends that I've made. And you're talking 2005, yeah? 21 years ago. Isn't that nuts? I'm still in touch with my core. They know who they are till today. 10, 15 people.
Now. If you look at them, you're still friends till today.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know everyone. We have the same crowd, which is amazing.
But that's awesome. And as not just getting to know new people who I'm still in touch with today, but my childhood friends from 1st to 6th grade were in Dubai with me.
Amazing.
Like 4 or 5 of them.
So people you lost touch with came back into your life in college again.
And the new ones, and then we were all just one big happy family.
That's nice. Okay, so tell me, when you wanted to start the Mo Show, did you feel there was a gap in the market?
For sure.
There's always you had to wait to be featured somewhere. So you wanted to create that space to get the people on board and talk about their stories. This is how tell me more about this part. How did you come up with this idea? Did you say I wanted to target Saudi and I wanted to shed light on Saudi voices, or did you think of it in a different way?
Okay, so after my brother sent me the link to Joe Rogan and Naval, I started looking into who Joe Rogan is. And then I realized that there's something called decentralized media, which means that it's not you or me knocking on a door saying, NBC, please employ me. CNN, please employ me. Arabiya, please employ me. Fox, please employ me. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. And more likely than not, they don't. You, as Nada, have the ability to buy the mics, to buy the cameras, and start your own channel, right? That is decentralized media. It's democratized. You want to do it? You can do it. And then I did a bit more digging on Rogan, and it was around the same time when CNN accused him of using horse tranquilizer. Okay. CNN is a company with 4,500 employees, butting heads with Joe Rogan, who's an individual, with maybe 2 or 3 people behind the scenes. Okay? And many would say that Joe Rogan won that war between him and CNN. That's Nada when I realized buying a few mics and a couple cameras can have this one guy butt heads with a company that's been around for how many years and beat them. And I realized that person filling that gap is empty in our region. The seat of Joe Rogan is empty, not just on a Saudi or GCC or an Arab, like in the Islamic world, there's no one filling that gap. I was like, okay, you know what? Country's so misconstrued. They think we're, world thinks we're this and we're not. And everything that I've been through in my life reminded me of when I was with the Brits and the Americans. They're like, you're not like the typical Saudi who we thought Saudis were like. It's like, what did you think Saudis were like? They're like, just not you. So that's when I said, you know what? Let me fill that gap, untangle those misconceptions and false narratives. And if I stay consistent with this while doubling down on my strengths, maybe I can one day be a source of soft power for the country and give back to a country that I've been patriotic of all my life.
It's so amazing. And I like that you had the direction was very clear from the beginning, and it's actually, I think you manifested it and actually worked.
Yeah, I think the only manifestation was the fact that I stayed consistent with it. It's the only thing I've ever been consistent in my life. It's the only thing I've ever been consistent on in my life.
Did you ever think of quitting? And how did I get here? Did you ever say, how did I get here? And did you ever get this feeling sometimes that I want to quit?
How did I get here is arrogant. So I try never to hang my hat on anything or rest on my laurels. I always want to be complacent. Look, when I'm on a flight to Riyadh or London and someone's like, are you Mo from the Mo Show? Like for a split second, in my mind, I'm like, how does that person know me?
I have the same.
Do you know?
Oh, me too.
And maybe it's good that we forget that, hey, you know what? In putting yourself out there, people are going to know you. But I think good things happen when you forget about, hey, I'm kind of a personality now, or, I'm famous. Like, I never, ever, ever want to get that in my head. And
so fame was never like your goal.
Fame, as much as it has its perks, is the biggest disadvantage of this. The goal was, in no particular order, okay? Do something for the country that it deserves, because that seat is empty. B, get the hell out of corporate.
Definitely.
C, own my time. And that's it, really. I'm going to
ask you another question, because I'm someone that's very, I believe time is money as well. The financial aspect, how important was it when you started this episode? Because like a lot of people look at you today and they're like, how does he make money? Or how we get sponsors and all that. Like this is something also very important. At the end of the day, it's your bread and butter. Was the money aspect important in the beginning?
No, because I didn't, you don't know what you don't know.
Did you ever expect to actually that this would be a money-making business?
You know what? Knowing myself, I thought that this would be something that I'll probably do for a year because of how inconsistent I was on everything else I've ever been inconsistent on. I never stuck with anything.
But you're passionate about this project, so it's different.
Because I found my calling, but it was uncharted. Everything I've done up until that point was very little interest outside of maybe football.
Okay, did you ever think you wanted to quit this?
Never.
Never?
Ever.
Okay, that's a good one.
No. I mean, it's caused problems in my marriage life.
Okay.
That I'm giving it more time. Sada's like, don't forget about me.
I'm here.
And you're right now, because when we got married, there was no this.
And
there was no
time
kids.
With her, and now
so
it's different.
You can imagine how challenging it is now when I have to make time for all of it.
It's very hard.
But I have to preface all of that and say that I wouldn't be able to continue without her support in doing this. Because when I'm on the road doing what I'm doing, she's ensuring that the house is right. Like, it made me realize how professional athletes, they're always on the road, and it made me value wives of professional athletes. Taking care of the house, the kids, everything that comes up. And here you are on like a mini holiday where you're working, but you know what?
You're in LA,
you're traveling, so please, and let it maskan, you're not going to get much sympathy. So I really, really owe her a lot for her drive. And, whenever I'm 50-50 on something, I ask her, and that is the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I wish I knew sometimes what the right thing to do is, but I don't.
But you have a very calm wife, and I like that about her. شخصيتها مرة هادية. She actually knows how to I feel she gives a sense of calm, and this is what makes you actually. This is why I feel you guys really get along. She's calm, you're active, and
And she's real.
She's real. Actually, you know something. How you are with Sarah is exactly like Mohammed and I.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a
We're the live wires, and there,
exactly.
She doesn't give a shit whether she's liked or not. How many friends she has. what people might think about her.
She doesn't
I'm
like small talk. She
I'm
tells
like
me.
zero.
She's like, I don't like small talk if it's irrelevant and doesn't make sense. And I like that about her.
It's like, when, like, say, if you talk to someone about something and it happens to be something they're very interested in, they'll shift their body language and they'll be like, yes, tell me more. And that's when you know, I got them.
Yeah.
And you also know when people shrivel up into a raisin and maybe, you lose their, their body language and they just want to, that small talk.
I agree. So I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something about Kuwait. So when I was in Kuwait, I wanted to put my son in a school. It was a Reggio school. And I asked them, what is Reggio? It's an Italian Montessori system. And basically after the war, after World War II, I think, they said that the Italians wanted to invest in education and infrastructure. So we hear, and everybody thought it was crazy to invest in education at the time when there was no bridges or no nothing, so they wanted to invest in those two things, education and infrastructure. And this is actually one of the most important things. But now, in this world that we're in, there's a new word, thing we should be investing in, media infrastructure. And this is something I actually think that you have been doing, even though you might have not. I really think you have created this new media infrastructure system here in Saudi. You are actually the first English podcast in Saudi Arabia. And this is something amazing. So tell me, how do you feel when people tell you you really are someone that did shed light on this part of the world?
Oh, it's like walking in a desert for 48 hours and you can't even see in front of you, and all you want is a cold glass of water, and then someone out of the mirage comes to you with a cold glass of water and ice, and the glass is frosted and you have that sip. And I use that analogy because I've never been labeled or dubbed or accused of, bravo, you actually did something really good for the community, the society, the country, for yourself, for your family. I never had that. So forgive me if I tie it into the analogy of thirst quenching, because I never got to experience that level of admiration/adulation.
That's amazing. And I really, really do think you have created this new, let's say, system that actually didn't exist here, because all the podcasts are in Arabic. And honestly, one thing I really love about yours is that it's informal.
Yeah.
You get the person to get out of their zone, to be comfortable, to speak their mind. It's not very, I work on a TV channel as well, so I'm really telling you, you give the person the comfort to share. And not every person sitting on that chair gives every person that sits on the chair the ability to overshare.
Yeah.
And it's very rare.
I think I know why.
Why?
It's because I'm not media. I never took a media course. But if you look at the top 10 podcasters in the world, none of them have a media background or I speak on behalf of myself, I never took a journalism class, nor did I take any kind of media training whatsoever. And I remember telling someone once, maybe I should take media. They're like, no, don't. Do not take it.
Don't.
It's working.
It actually makes you sometimes more rigid.
More rigid, yeah.
And something I'll tell you about myself, when I got on the TV channel, on the show, I was with a poet, with a comedian, and with an amazing Iraqi speaker. And all of them speak so eloquently. Like in Jeddah, we speak fast. Our words are not very...
enunciated.
Yeah, we don't enunciate well.
Yeah.
It's like the British versus the American.
Yeah.
So I tried tried so hard to try to mimic the three, and then I realized my voice will not be heard if I didn't become myself. And honestly, I actually see the past 6 months are so different because I became myself.
Correct.
And actually, my viewership has reached very much higher when I became Neda. And this is what's so nice about you, that you're always yourself.
But Nada, how exhausting is it when you're not yourself?
Very.
Right?
It's fake.
How easy have these 40 minutes been?
No, it's so easy. But even when we filmed with Ahad here, and that show was amazing.
So easy.
But you are the person that makes also the conversation flow and easy. And this is something, this is not في شيء أحيانا يقول لك في قبول. في العربي يقولوا في قبول. I don't know how to say that in English. I don't know how to say it in English. Acceptance. There are people that are heavy and dry. I've been on podcasts where the people were heavy and dry, and I don't really feel like I want to share. I don't even trust what kind of segment he's going to take and use to put on YouTube, because he wants viewership. With you, everyone trusts you because you're so transparent.
That's another thing. I always give final cut to the guest. That's something else. I took a lot from Tim Ferriss. Okay. I took a lot from Tim Ferriss.
Okay, as you know now, Saudi has a lot of guests coming and on Saudi media tours, and you are part of that journey. So tell me, how was it when you met Trump and MBS? Crown Prince Mohammed Salman? Tell me about that moment. First of all, I want a picture. We're going to have to put this picture up.
Yes.
I really want to know, how did you feel? When you first, that you're always included in these things now, which is something amazing. And second of all, it was a surreal moment.
Getting the call was surreal. Getting the call was surreal.
Do you remember the date and time? And
Correct. Yeah, I was arriving in Dubai, and the guy said, "I'm from the Royal Court, and I have a invitation for you for when President Trump comes, and the invitation is from the Crown Prince." And I said, because this happened to me before from the Ministry of Media when they invited me to G20 with the Crown Prince. I was like, I just have to ask, this is for real, right? You're not. He's like, yes, Mohammed. That's very humbling. That you think this might not be real, but I have your invite with me, so let me know how I can get it across to you. I was like, thank you so much, and please thank whoever gave it to you, because this is quite a moment for me. He's like, you deserve wal jai afdal, and better to come for you.
And you also met the Minister of Media recently.
Many times, yeah. His Excellency Salman al-Dosari been super, just the support and the encouragement that I got from that whole entity. Like, I actually feel like I'm part of their team.
That's amazing.
Today, not on their payroll. I don't go to any of their meetings, but if I ever needed anything from the Ministry of Media, support in any capacity, they know that I'm one of their soldiers.
They know.
But fast forward to the Royal Court. We actually put a clip up on YouTube, but I'll give you the zubda, the highlight,
Okay.
when it was actually our section to go and greet the president. In my mind, I'm like, listen, I don't want to just say my name and then, go. No, I wanted to make more of an impact. It's President Trump, and I want him to know that, we have someone on the ground here who might, his content might resonate a little closer to the content you're used to seeing back home. So it was my turn. I was like, what am I going to say? I was like, okay, I got it. It's like, good morning, Mr. President. I'm Mohammed Islam. He's like, now you can imagine 300 people before me, and they're just saying their name, and it gets a bit monotonous. And then I said, the Joe Rogan of Saudi Arabia.
Oh my God, I love that.
So his eyes perked up like this, and he pulled me in, tapped my shoulder. He's like, is that right? I was like, that's what they say, sir.
So there's a lot of content circulated online, and you see so many videos and podcasters, and how do you make your content impactful? How do you make sure that it's viewed differently and the perception is correct?
By being human first, by going into it with the right reasons, which is not to sensationalize, not to screw anyone over, to show an accurate reflection of the guest. So when you go in there with that positive demeanor, good things happen. And I think to close that loop, you want every episode to be different to the one before. So when someone asks me what's the Mo Show about, I say life.
Life. I don't do like when people tell you, so what is your podcast exactly about? I don't like to have a definition, because I think with you have so many people from different walks of life. It's not about religion, it's not about just Saudi, it's not about,
Nope.
It's about many things. It's stories across different things.
Yeah.
How do you define it? If they tell you, what's your show about? Life.
Yeah, life. And the content, once it reaches people, and we've had people from Australia, we've had people from South America, we've had people from Holland, Norway, Finland.
They're watching.
Yeah, see, of course, Canada, US, we're going to get them, but I'm talking slightly more niche countries who message us and say they love our content. So if that's not soft power, where they saw a clip of like the one of Haya Sawan that went viral, or Mo Gaudat that went viral, and it reached them. Ooh, this is interesting. What is this? Mo Show. What does he talk about? Ooh, who's this guest? Great. Oh, where's it from? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. Soft power.
Nice. I like that.
And again, if the people that I report to, being the Royal Court or the Ministry of Media, if they didn't see it as a form of soft power, I don't think they would have kept me close.
Exactly, I agree. And honestly, we see it already. And the fact that you're telling me you have viewership from Finland and these places, that's so interesting.
Yes.
That's great.
Because they speak English. I don't know if you've been to Amsterdam. Have you been?
I have, of course.
Great country, great city.
Finland as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So Scandinavia in general, English is part of the curriculum from when they're young. And I'll be walking down the streets of Amsterdam, and I was like, for sure, this person is American. And I'm good with the distinction. I know when someone's an American or an Australian or New Zealand, I can differentiate between Australian, New Zealand, Irish, Welsh. And then he'll say something in English, and then boom, drop something in Dutch. I was like, wow, you had me. their English proficiency in that part of the world, Scandinavia, is incredible.
It's
and
very
Holland.
impressive, that part of it. I went to Finland, I went to Sweden, Denmark. I was so impressed with their education systems are amazing.
Well, that
It's
part of the
another
world
level.
does everything right. They're kind of like Japan.
They actually even like paying, they don't even mind paying taxes, and they pay 45% or 40%.
Because
And this is
everything
like
down to their
10 years
bus
ago.
fare is covered.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
a great system,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Okay, so I think we see this a lot. We have a lot of people coming from all over the world, global names for so many events in Saudi. But at the end of the day, you see this person coming in, obviously paid for, and they don't want to post about this country. They don't want to post about Saudi, but they are willing to come here. But they're not willing to post or share their visit. Doesn't this bother you?
It does, actually. It happened with a rapper a few days ago at Formula E.
Okay.
And that's not news. I mean, this happens, years and years and years and years. I think it's a bit selloutish.
I agree. So
You
why did
know?
you agree to come here if you don't want to cover that you are in this part of the world? I think this is so
The
incorrect.
check was pretty.
The check was pretty.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are you doing about this?
So I had an idea from maybe year one of the podcast. And I was like, you know what? This show can spin off and it can coexist with Saudi's first late night talk show.
Like
Think
that?
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, or some of the
I see
greats
you
like
doing
Jay
that,
Leno
yeah.
or
We
David
don't have
Letterman,
something
who's not
like
here.
this.
We don't.
We don't.
And I've been speaking to a big entity, and they loved the idea. One of them on a call said, "But Mo, if you do something like this, it needs to be humorous." I was like, "And?" He's, he was like, "But your content is very serious." I was like, "Perfect, amazing. I'm so glad you said that." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, if you're fortunate enough to own a car, if you're going to get a second car for whatever reason, make sure that second car does everything the first one doesn't. If the first one is 4x4, make sure the second one is a sports car.
Okay.
I'm a car guy, so that's how I was able to rationalize it to myself. He's like, okay. I was like, in order for this new function or this new idea not to cannibalize what I'm already doing, it needs to do everything that what I'm doing isn't. He's like, ah. I was like, yes, the Mo Show is serious. Yes, the Mo Show is intimate. Yes, the Mo Show is one-on-one with no audience. But the late night talk show will give that, whether it's live or not, but it'll give the sensation that it's live. It will be Mo in a comedic light, and
Different guests.
believe me, I
You
have
can
a
be
sense
funny.
of humor.
You do.
All right.
I think they can't see it with this show.
They can, yeah. But I have that angle to me, and it's just nothing like what I do on the pod.
Yeah.
So we're in talks, fingers crossed, and I think it closes that loop and it addresses the issue that you started off with, which is these A-listers, B-listers, C-listers, they come
Coming
to
here
Saudi.
and it just
We're at the mercy of whether they post. So how about we create the show, and then we put it on, something that's part of their media
are
engagements.
as part of their contract, actually.
Yeah.
Like I really believe that anybody coming to this part of the world should, and I'm saying this because I also interview so many people as you see on the red carpet, and I really think they should. Yeah, and honestly, it disappoints me when I say like we'd like to have her. She knows she's not doing interviews.
Yeah.
Why? You came all the way here,
Yeah.
15-hour flight to come and see our part of the world, and where everybody's so hot. And they always come and say that Saudis are so hospitable, they are so kind, they are so warm, that the city is beautiful, that
Yeah.
they love it. Then why don't you want to
Enough with the words,
we
let's
wanna
see
see it
tangible.
on,
Yeah.
and it's like me going anywhere in the world and I'm asked to actually produce a certain level of content. I should be allowed, and why not? Because this part of the world has been so, accommodating to them. So why not do that? So honestly, this really bothers me, and I think it bothers you too.
Very much so, very much so. And I think when we do this, it's going to be me in local attire, because when these little micro segments make the rounds on social media, and you see an A-lister in that chair, and then you see a Saudi guy in this chair, and you see the vibe, you within the first second know what's going on here. Oh my God, that's Tom Cruise sitting with a Saudi guy. Wait, Saudi have entertainment, they have movies. He's going to promote
You're
his movie.
normalizing it, yeah.
You're extinguishing that false narrative that Saudi is some dangerous place. And what's baffling is, those who say that Saudi is so dangerous, or they think it's so dangerous, they come here and they're shocked that, we leave our cars with the keys in it.
It's this one of the safest places on earth to raise a
Alhamdulillah,
family.
we don't take that
Alhamdulillah.
lightly.
Exactly, and I really wish people see this side more, and I think your show has been doing that. And I sometimes when I'm abroad, like I'm not the most like I'm not the like someone that always gets asked, so many things about like Saudi. But when I'm asked where I'm from, the first thing I say is Saudi. So are you really Saudi? I'm like, yes, I'm Saudi, because they don't have this perception of a
See?
Saudi woman,
See?
and it disappoints me. So when that disappoints me, I start explaining Saudi's amazing. I even remember that I met Cardi B before her coming here like 9 years ago, and I'm like, you need to come to Saudi. She's like, really? I was like, you really need to come. She's like, do people look like you
love it.
there? I was like, yeah, people look like me there. She came 8 years later.
I love it.
And I was not even like big on social media or anything at the time.
See, we have this opportunity to be ambassadors in whatever country you're from. You can be an ambassador to your country by virtue of having a social media account.
True.
And for the many people that said, why in English? 2 billion people speak English, 350 million speak Arabic, sixfold.
Bigger audience. So you see, I interviewed you today in English because we need a bigger audience to actually hear your story more, because you're always interviewing people, but your story, even though people might have an idea about your background, but I feel like you need to be heard more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we need more interviews from you to get to know you more. So if I ask you to dream a little, you always said like you'd love to have a show like Joe Rogan, right? And now you want to do the live show that's funny and humorous and showing a different side of you. Like your dreams back in the day and your dreams now, tell me how, like ambition and success, how did you look back at it back in the day and now?
So back in the day, my dream was similar and at the same time not similar. So my real dream back in the day was to represent Saudi playing football, goalkeeper. That was my dream. Okay? So again, the representative, patriotic, giving back, wanting to put that jersey on for the country. And unfortunately, you know how unlikely it is for you to be chosen to be good enough to represent your country on a national level. But starting the podcast gave me that sensation when I get a comment from someone saying, "Khair man yumathil al-watan," one of the best to represent us. I was like, wow, so this kind of, on some level, must feel like what players feel like who put on that jersey and represent the country. So really, Yani, I wanted to do something for the country. I just didn't know how.
Coming to this question, so do you see that this platform of yours, like your media platform, is a cultural responsibility?
Cultural responsibility? I think it's a responsibility, but not limited to culture. I think it's a responsibility for myself, for my family, for my city, for the country, for the GCC, for the Arab world, for the Islamic world. We've had some sheikhs on the show.
I saw.
Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad, Hamza Yusuf, Mustafa Briggs. These guys, when the Islamic world and the Muslims who are not from any Islamic countries, when they're tuning in and they're like, we love that this is coming from a podcast that's based in Saudi, the country that's, the lead, that hosts Mecca and Medina. They feel like it's so fitting. And I think that's where the responsibility lies.
Okay, my last question to you is like, we both have kids, and I think one of the nicest things and joys in life is to see how they look at us. So when your children go look back and they grow up and see what you did and what that you built, what do you want them to look? How do you want them to perceive your success in this business?
That Baba was able to exercise his potential to his full abilities.
I like how you said it, as if it looks up from a dictionary.
No. Because for me, there's nothing worse than unfulfilled potential.
True. And unfulfilled, when a father is not really happy with what he's doing, he doesn't come back home happy.
No.
He doesn't bring the best out to his kids.
A lot of things, you have to have a happy life back home.
Happy, yeah.
Yeah, I know where you're going to go.
Happy wife.
Yeah. And I maybe push back a little bit on that phrase. I agree and I disagree with it, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, I agree as well.
The only reason why I disagree with it is because I don't want the man to think happy wife and screw everything about where I'm at with my mental health. You need to be healthy as well to provide a healthy environment for your wife.
True.
And for sure, it's very important to have a wife who is happy, a child who's happy, but it cannot come at the expense. Like if happy wife, happy life is all that matters, but I can only give 2 years of that till I shoot myself.
No, and
What,
to be honest,
what
not,
good
not
are
every
you?
wife is worth like working on sometimes. Let's
Yes.
be also very honest. Like there are women that are worth investing in and husbands that are worth investing in. And there are some people that just don't work out together. So that's another thing we can also talk about. Like it's not just about you only invest in a person, try to make them happy. If they make you happy,
If they make you happy,
يعني
if they're mindful of where are you at.
Exactly.
Thank you for making me happy. How are you though? It's the thank you for making me happy. I don't care about where you're at that I don't stand for.
No, you need to.
And alhamdulillah, like with my wife, it's like and where are you? Thank you for making me happy. You know, but and how are you doing?
Exactly. It's not. It's like a. It's a joint effort.
It's a joint
Marriage
effort.
is not easy, and you need to actually really try hard to make it work. And this
Yeah.
is something understandable. And the fact that you're always on the road, you just told me that when you're away, you realize how much that she's home and managing that. And you said you respect. You told me just before we started that you respect footballers'
The
wives,
athletes,
wives,
yeah.
because they actually run the show
They
when
run
their
the show.
husbands are away.
They run the show, and when they retire, it was I think Dwayne Wade from the Miami Heat. He's married to Gabrielle Union, and they were both on an
I met
interview.
her in New York, actually.
Gabrielle,
Such a nice woman.
very nice, down to
And
earth.
I also told her she has to come to Saudi.
Amazing.
At the Tom
just,
Ford
just,
Fashion
just
Show.
tell everyone.
I keep marketing.
So on an interview, she said, and Dwayne just retired, and she was like, the guy asked her, so what's it going to be like now that Dwayne was like, well, finally he can do some school runs, finally he can be at the house, because for the longest time, they're doing all of that.
Yeah.
So kudos to all the wives out there doing what they're doing, and I told my wife that if for whatever reason, God forbid, but like if it was me and those kids, I wouldn't be able to do this.
On your own.
Like I would not be able to do this. So we're so lucky to have you.
Oh, yeah, amazing. She's such a beautiful person. Thank you so much for giving me this time. And honestly, I had such a good time. I feel the time just like finished. I'm sorry about the camera issues.
Happens,
and I'm
it
learning.
happens.
This is a work in progress.
My episode 1, the mics weren't working at all.
Oh, really?
And we were happy. We're like, oh
Like,
yeah,
I
let's
took
go
over your
watch.
studio.
And then we press play, and it's like,
And by the way, we are going to be using his space from my other
yes,
episode
your
in a
space.
different area. So
for
we
sure.
don't like just steal
Please
his whole.
utilize it as much as you can.
And now I want to take them on a tour on this beautiful studio, Saraha.
Yes.
It has such nice kind of tweaks
Thank
all
you.
over.
I wanted to feel like
Why did you choose the red curtains? I want to know. And this whole concept. Give me an idea. Like I love the rugs and.
look.
Were you the interior designer?
Yeah, I was. And industrial is the limit of my architectural genius.
Yeah.
I wanted it to look like. So I saw an episode of Chris Williamson and Dr. Andrew Huberman. I'll show you the picture. And when I saw it, it was like just one of the sets that he shot in. I was like, that's what I want my studio to look like. That was the inspiration.
This is amazing.
That was, and I love brick. I just love brick. I was in
brick.
New York 2 weeks ago, and I was just looking at buildings like like it's the first time I arrived on Earth. Like, oh, brick. And I just like spaces that feel that they've been around for 1,000 years. And
everything looks vintage.
Red
I like that.
curtains, I think they go with that, Tribeca Film Festival,
Yeah, the
drama
Red Sea
school.
Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I like the watch as well.
Thank you so
You
much.
Work with the brands.
Thank you so
Nice.
much. My wife's calling me right now. We are wrapping up.
Hi, Sarah.
And, say hi to Nada.
Hi.
Okay, we got to go to Fatur. All right. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Bye.
I love you, and
Love you too.
keep up everything you
Thank
do,
you.
and consistency.
Is key.
That's it.
Okay, great.